Good afternoon, everyone. Can I have a response, please? Good afternoon. Okay. So let me introduce the panelists here, right in order of how they're sitting. Mr. Philip Thomas is a country head of World Design Council with over 20 years experience in media design and design education. And he has served as an advisor to the Media and Entertainment Skills Council. That's Philip for you. Please, Philip, maybe you can raise your hand. And we have architect Tony Joseph. He's our charter member. He's a very well-known face to all of you. He's a founder principal of Stapati Architects with the Pan-India presence and even, I think, chapters in Dubai. And we have, and he's also a chairman of Avani Institute of Design. Tony has become one of Tony's firm, Stapati, has become one of these South Asia's top 50 design firms and have won multiple prestigious awards. He was also an invited artist at Kochi-Muziris Biennale 2016, where he's also a patron or director. And we have next Mr. Laeeq Ali. He's a founder of Bloombox Brand Engineers and Alt Tribe. He's also the president of Advertising Club of Bangalore and has co-authored the book, Your Time Is Now. Laeeq to you. Give a round of applause, please. Thank you. And we have number 4 panelists, distinguished founding member of Kochi-Muziris Biennale, Dr. Ashvin Patel. Dr. Shwetal Ashvin Patel. Please stand corrected. Dr. Patel has a PhD from Winchester School of Art, University of Southampton, and his research focuses on visual art and Biennale practices. He lectures at prestigious institutions like Zurich University of Arts and Royal College of Art, and serves on the editorial board of oncurating.org. Okay, so that's the distinguished panel for you. And let me, at the outset, thank my good friend Tony Joseph for initiating this session in our TiEcon. Okay, so what is creative economy? If you ask Google, it is an evolving concept that describes knowledge-based economy activities that are foundation of creative industries. It is a system that involves the creation, production, and distribution of goods and services that use creativity and intellectual capital as primary inputs. Now, this creative economy has many segments: advertising, architecture, arts and crafts, design, fashion, film and videography, photography, music, performing arts and publishing. But for the scope of this panel discussion, which is of limited time, we will focus on 3 broad areas. 1, architecture and design. 2, content creation, which covers media, entertainment and advertising. And 3, arts and culture. So, Tony, would you like to make an opening line on this? And then I will go on to ask Philip on to throwing some figures for everyone, the audience, to understand the size of this economy. Tony P, please.
Thank you. I think the reason, just 3 weeks back, I think TiE didn't have this stream. And I think we decided that we should include the creative economy. Somehow people are not aware of the potential for the creative economy, especially for Kerala. I think Kerala is so fertile for that. I think we have the education, the cultural, and so many other areas Kerala has such a potential for that. I think to understand the scale in a city of London, just London, the 11% of the economy is coming from the creative economy. I think it is about 55 billion about 2-3 years back. That is more than 6,000 crores a year. So that is a scale in one city there. And so we have such a huge potential so that there is so much to do for that. I think Kerala has recently drafted a design policy here, but that has remained on paper. I think we need to actually implement that. I think for example, in France, they have a rule that any public building, 1% of the total spend has to be on art. And even in UK, many of the councils there are promoting art and crafts by giving a lot of benefits for the buildings which are coming up. Now, when you, recently I was in London and there was a building and hotel which had come up, and the owner was showing a lot of the craft work which has happened around the building, which was part of his negotiation with the government to give him the permission or certain benefits. So I think there is a huge potential for all that. I think that is only one aspect. I think he's going to talk about the various areas of creative economy which can be so useful for Kerala. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, I just, before going to Philip, I just want to also touch upon that we have such a huge talent base, and only one of the sectors, like the movies, Malayalam movies, have grabbed the attention of pan-India, you know, and thanks to also the booming of the OTT channels, you know. Our stars are now much wanted in even Bollywood, and our movies have great following. But similarly, you know, even in arts and, you know, crafts and many other fields, we have huge talent base. So I request Mr. Philip Thomas to please enlighten us on the scope and the vast, because yes, he is a country head of the World Design Council. Please bring out your perspective.
Hi, good afternoon. So moderator has asked me to come up with some numbers so that the audience gets an idea about the size of the industry. Creative industry is very vast with a multitude of dimensions, but I will throw light to some of the prominent sectors, because this is an entrepreneurial summit. So we have entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. So I just want to showcase some of the numbers which was prepared by Ernst & Young in the FICCI frames. I am also associated with FICCI Media Entertainment Division. So India, if you look at the media entertainment sector, which is one of the largest in the creative sector, comprises of film, television, advertising, and the list goes on. Altogether, media entertainment industry, in last year's report, it was nearly $30 billion industry. And the Government of India, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Secretary in his recent press release has said that government aspires to make it a $100 billion industry, media entertainment industry. And India, in fact, took a delegation to Cannes to position India as a digital content creation hub for the world. And if you come to the sectorial performance, India is supposed to touch 1 billion screens by 2030. Out of that, only 24% is going to be the regular TV screens, but mostly otherwise handheld devices. So that shows the huge demand for the content in the domestic market itself. And we all think that cinema is the biggest in the media entertainment. No, the gaming industry is surpassed film industry in the latest reports. So gaming is growing. I'm not about playing the game, but the game development side has surpassed the film industry. If you look at the gaming, it's especially the online, it's a 388 billion Indian rupees. If you look at the Indian rupees valuation, India have a 1 trillion economy on the media entertainment side. And the digital advertising is growing like anything. We are all exposed to digital advertisement. Every moment we switch on the TV, it's going to be a 567 billion Indian rupees. And the digital subscription, that's one revolution which happened due to the COVID. There's huge growth in the digital subscription, which comes to 78 billion in size. And print, contrary to the global trends, print, I'm talking about print media, and the revenues from the print media is growing in India. Gaming already I mentioned. Gaming is 220 billion and the cinema is 197 billion. We produce around 1,700 plus movies across India. Animation visual effects, one of the industry which I work very closely. Globally, it is 168 billion USD. And India, we have the industry in still, there's a lot of opportunity for animation visual effects to grow. We have only $1 billion industry in India. So the government have lot of new initiatives happening at the central level and the state level, which I will come to in the next round. And the live events, after the COVID especially, the live events is growing like anything with 20% of the growth level. Then the music, 24 billion industry with average 10%. In short, I've been part of media and entertainment industry for more than 2 decades. I have seen this sector consistently growing over the years. That's where I will conclude with the numbers. Thank you.
Okay. So I also want to tell the panelist friends here that, when I ask a cue to one of you, any add-on point, you're please welcome to, put it there. Dr. Shwetal, as a founding member of Kochi-Muziris Biennale, as well as academician, please share your perspective on the arts and culture segment and also covering Biennale, if you might. Thank you.
Thank you. It's wonderful that TiE has included this stream, and I'm very honored to be part of this discussion today. I think larger point I'd like to start with is culture with a big C. Includes many, many facets of everyday life. The arts are one part of it, but it's also festivals, it's also community, all sorts of celebrations that happen. And cultural tourism today is one of the leading drivers of tourism. People aren't interested in simply going to a place for the sake of it. They're going for other reasons. So if you travel to Dubai, you may travel at the time when there's a festival happening. If you've been to Dubai several times, there's less of a compulsion to go, but if there's some marquee cultural event happening, it makes people want to travel. And I think that's what's happened in Kerala, which has been traditionally, of course, one of the bright spots of tourism in the country. We have Jose Dominic here, who instrumental in the, introducing wellness into the tourism offer in Kerala very successfully. Kerala has abundance of attributes when it comes to culture. There's film festivals, theater festivals, dance festivals. So in 2010, when the government asked artists, what do you think we could do for Kerala to put Kerala on the art and culture map? Art map, because as I said, there were many, many other festivals that are still in existence that were doing very well, but specifically visual arts. And the proposal that was given was that a Biennale can be instituted within Fort Cochin. And at that time in Fort Cochin, it was slightly, I would say, a sort of, decaying jewel in a sense. Its heyday had long passed. Economic activity had shifted to the mainland. The once thriving port had been moved across the channel to a much more modern facility. And whilst it was very charming and redolent of history, it was really not culturally vibrant in the way that I think has been the case since the Biennale, where now it's really synonymous, both within India, but I would also argue within the region and internationally, as a node in the art map of the world. And that's evidenced through the number of visitors, the kind of critical reception, and so forth. And what we've seen happen in that time, and when we first proposed this to government, we talked about something called the multiplier effect. And a case study from northern Spain, where the Guggenheim builds a museum in Bilbao. And Bilbao was an economically depressed part of Spain, and this was a huge investment for the government at that time. And within 10 years, this had become an unequivocal economic success. And we said to the government that, look, with investment in arts and culture, we can achieve a multiplier effect which will trickle through the rest of the economy. And I think that's what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen it happening. So when the Biennale is on, there is no room available in Fort Cochin, and everyone from the hotel owner to the chai walas, there are all. I think that those are signs of standing examples of multiplier effect. Yeah. Coming to Laeeq, what kindly share your perspective on the potential in the brand advertising, brand creative sector and its untapped potential.
Thanks, Ajit. Thanks, TiEcon, for having me here. I was looking at the audience and said I could very clearly see one bunch of people who are established and one bunch of people who are probably wannabe, right? So I give you context from, I'll throw some jargons first. So I say, I'm going to touch upon broadly creative economy, digital economy, which is AI, generative AI, and the technology bit which is there. And then touch upon shared economy, and last but not the least, circular economy, right? You look at Kerala today, I think at an overall level, India, when you look at it, we are on the cusp of a very independent creative revolution of sorts, right? And I use the word independent creative revolution because the power is going to the individual more than the corporate now. And everybody has the power now with technology coming in. There's so much of possibilities and the power is sitting with. And we've seen this with the influx of social media influencers. Suddenly out of the blue, a social media influencer is the most wanted personality around, right? All of us want a social media influencer to be talking about us. But there are challenges around. Kerala is abundant with talent, and we know the folks, the art, the culture bit which is here. But when you look at the independent creative talent, do we value our time, right? And so there is a need, do you value our IP? So there is a need for us to really put method to the madness. And slowly that method to the madness is coming in. Because we see great movies getting done here, like we were talking there, Fahad Fasil is a most wanted artist now, right, in India. So method to the madness is falling in. Movies are becoming a great flag bearer from Kerala, especially our creative economy. I'm sure we're going to win some Oscars soon. And yeah, it's time for Kerala to go to the world. Yes, Ayurveda did it, but independent creative economy has the possibility to take us to the world, right? So when you touch upon creative economy, I think it's about IP, it's about originality. I was sitting with a AI studio in Bangalore, and I realized saying that, okay, there's no dearth of innovation. In the last 3-4 years, they have come up with 70 patents. Can you imagine that? 70 patents. But unfortunately, what's happening is only 10 of them is in action, which means 60 patents are there, but they don't know what to do, right? So that's the beauty about creative economy. You have the power, just look around, opportunities are there, create your own IPs, go patent it, and go to the world, right? I won't touch upon digital economy. Everybody knows the power of technology, social media, all of that. But the power of shared economy is something what we have not tapped into, right? I think the earlier years was the premise of I have an idea. I think the future is all about we have an idea. So that's the power of shared economy, right? So we were talking and said, like Shwetal and me were walking in, and I said, why is Biennale not in Bangalore? I said, why don't we do it together? It's an opportunity. So now what is happening here? It's a beautiful concept of shared economy, right? Me and Tony was doing something. So I'm trying to talk to him and learn something from them. But there is an aspect of shared economy there, but at the core of it is collaboration. The age of competition is dead. It is the age of collaboration, and not these naam ke vaste collaborations. It has to be true collaborations where everybody does a win-win, right? So yeah, we, from a Bloombox angle, we have collaborated with the fund now. So people who consult with us has the ability to go access the fund, which is a collaboration. I have a coffee firm. We have collaborated with an Indian sweets brand. So many things are happening. So as long as both the parties see a collaboration, they will. Last but not the least, circular economy. look around and saying heat, floods, we have it here already. Climate change is no more on television channels and boardrooms. I think we're living the truth, right? What are we doing about it as individuals? Are we using shared economy? Are we using Uber instead of driving with our own cars? I don't think so. Including me too, right? Because these are habit changes what we need to do. Now, think about this event, for example, and this might be contradictory to TiE. How much of carbon footprint does this event have today? And what have we done to probably take care of that? Now, with that, there is an opportunity there. Do we have anybody from the event management side? Why don't you start an entity which is all about doing carbon neutral events? That's an opportunity, right? So that's a broad spectrum. We go deeper into it as and when we go. So yeah, 4 economies, not a jargon anymore. I think it's all real.
Thank you, Laeeq. Thank you. You've initiated some thoughts in my mind. So Kerala is largely known for the export of its human resource or human talent, which, of course, thanks to the social correction, the work by missionaries, a lot of that has contributed to the development of human development index. But information, IT services is one area where it bucked the trend, translated into export of service instead, right? And in cinema, movies, we have made a product, export of product. Tourism, cultural experience, it's again an export of service and sorts when we get people outside to come and enjoy the experience, and that leads to flow of funds into our economy. So can we look at a similar thing, in design or architecture and other fields? That's, Tony, that's my question to you. Can we look at such possibilities in other sectors as well, please?
I think in architecture, I think there is a change happening. It is interesting that today a lot of the projects which we are doing is outside of Kerala, and and we are doing projects all over in India and even some projects outside of India. So, and many of the architects, at least in Calicut, a lot of the projects have started coming from outside of India, which is great. I think we have our offices here and we are doing projects outside. But that is the point. I think one of the problems we face is getting the right talent to stay back. I think we were discussing it. I have 3 other speakers, and 2 of the talents, they are not in Kerala. I seem to be the only person in Kerala. So we seem to be exporting talents outside of Kerala. They're both in Bangalore. Why? I think that's a question. I think there needs to be some change. There needs to be some change happening in our cities to make it more interesting for youngsters to stay back. I think that is one of the things which we need. I think Shwetal is the only guy, somehow we have managed to get him from UK to Kerala, at least partly. So that is good. That is because of our the culture and art scene in Kerala. We have been able to bring him here. So that change needs to happen. I think we need, a lot of films have started happening in Cochin. I think a lot of films are being shot in Cochin. A lot of contents have been shot in Cochin, advertisements. But then we need more studios here. So culturally, we need more cultural facilities here. So there are a lot of infrastructure which needs to come to make Kerala more happening. I think that is one change which needs to happen. Yeah, so.
Can I add a point?
Please.
Yeah, but I think what Tony raised was very interesting, and what you've also raised, some of the other panels. When we talk about economic growth, there are externalities. Clearly, the environment is, adversely impacted by a lot of economic growth strategies, which are industrialization. Famously, Kerala has not gone down that route, the IT sector, tourism sector, and it has exported human capital throughout India and the world. I think Tony's point about making Kerala a place where young people want to stay, start businesses, work, and be fulfilled is really, really important from a policy perspective. And arts and culture, clean environment, good schools, good rule of law, all of these things come together for places to be attractive. I remember back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, Cognizant, the global consulting firm, came to Kerala, and Cochin was chosen as one of 21 cities of the future. There was the only city in India. Other places included, Austin, Texas, and various other places around the world. And they had various criteria why they felt Kochi was a city of the future. And one of them, from our perspective, was that it had a good arts and culture offer, that there were entertainment opportunities, it was clean, it was safe, there were good schools. So I think this is from an economic perspective, I think all of these areas need to be looked at holistically in order to continue to make Kerala an attractive place to move, to invest, to stay.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Patel. So I think this is one area where we can explore a bit what will be a value addition to the audience here. I think again drawing a comparison to the tech industry, which made it possible upgrade from export of human talent to export of service, right? And the critical step there was the establishment of first tech park. It might be interesting for you to learn that first tech park in the country was set up in Trivandrum, in the whole nation of India, right? So that was, I don't know, we can say a WhatsApp moment, or the inflection point for that industry. Similarly, what can we do in the creative realm, taking advantage of all these schemes and everything? So I'm coming to you, Mr. Philip Thomas, that, what can be done, for private and public sector, for the government, to facilitate such a transition, a value addition to export service, so that we can retain our good talent here, and these are our inherent strengths, and, to capitalize that, right? So please, your thoughts.
Yeah, before getting into the answer, I want to mention about the power of creative economy or creator economy. See, now there is a blurring line between the creator and the audience. One classic example is the reels you create, the content you create for YouTube. YouTube India has contributed rupees 22,000 crore to the Indian GDP. That's the power of creator economy. I'm just giving an idea, which is equivalent to 7.5 lakhs full-time jobs. Another study initiated...
Philip, is that the revenue or the tax component you're talking about?
No, that's revenue.
All right.
Yeah. And another study which was done by British Council as per the request from West Bengal government on the Durga Puja. That study was done by Kochi-Muziris University and IIT Kharagpur. The creative industries contribute around 33,000 crores, which is equivalent to roughly 2.5% of the West Bengal's GDP. In fact, Biennale has to do that kind of a study. I suggested this in one of other roundtables, because we know Biennale is doing good with footfalls, but what is the real impact? The creative economy is not just about wealth creation, but it also have societal benefits, cultural benefits, and multitude of dimensions, actually. And now coming to the good things happening nationally and in our state, we at FICCI Media Entertainment Division, we continuously lobby with the government. We try to educate with the senior leadership, senior bureaucrats. Eventually, we have a national policy for animation, visual effects, gaming, comics, and XR. We call it AVGC XR. A policy was announced by Government of India around 7 years back, and now states have come up with the policy. And the good news is that the Government of Kerala has actually, the cabinet has approved AVGC policy in last March. Dr. Venu, the Chief Secretary, was very instrumental in doing that. He understands the language of creative people. And this policy is driven by multiple stakeholders in the government. Whenever we think about starting a business, traditionally Keralites will think about IT, tourism, or health, wellness, these are areas. But now, the good news is that the Kerala youngsters or aspiring entrepreneurs want to start a business. Kerala Startup Mission is included creative sector also as one of their mandate. And thanks to InfoPark CEO Sushant sir was very instrumental in making this happen. We have a space allocated for creative companies inside InfoPark. And we have an organization here in Kerala, which is called Society for AVGC Institutes in Kerala, SAIC. We have the Secretary of SAIC here in the audience, Mr. Sharath. He was also very instrumental in making this happen. We are bringing in Animela to Kerala, which is organized in collaboration with NSC, which happens in France. It's the world's largest event on animation. So now the Kerala entrepreneurs, those who are content creators can come and pitch in this event. It's going to happen in March with the support of Government of Kerala. So these are the few things happening in this creative sector. And recently, the Minister Raju visited the facility in InfoPark. So we were discussing about him to consider this as a serious industry. He has promised to introduce design, entertainment as a sector in the upcoming Invest Kerala event. We had a roundtable on that. Honorable Secretary Mohammad Hanif is taking the lead on that. So we will having a sector also in the Invest Kerala for the first time for the design and entertainment. So overall, nationally or on the state level, there is a lot of good things happening the policy level and from the government side. The stakeholders are supporting a lot. And the government of India has announced a National Center for Excellence at Mumbai, which is equivalent to, which will have the status of IIT, which will be officially called Indian Institute of Creative Technology. And there will be 5 regional centers. Kerala is also going to have a center of excellence in the Chitranjali campus. Shajin Karun sir was very instrumental in making this happen. CDT is going to be the implementation partner for that. So overall, if some youngsters wants to, or any entrepreneur wants to come to creative sector, there are a lot of things happening in our state and nationally supporting the creative sector.
Thank you, Philip. I would like the other panelists also to respond to this. You know, what specific thing can inflection point can we bring in? You know, to as a infrastructure or an event like Biennale is an event which is triggered a lot of multiplicator effect to convert from talent export or to retain talent to export a service or product, right?
Yeah, I would look at it like this, and out of my personal experience, I'll tell you, I sit as a president of Advertising Club. And when I interact with all the agency folks, they're all struggling with the technological change which is happening around us, right? And the first thing when a change happens is fear. Is that I don't know how to change, right? So fundamentally, I think it all starts with us as individuals. So we have to adapt. So new things are happening around us. There's no point fighting it, right? And you can't just go back there. So everything starts with the individual, with the human. So if we don't change, our people don't change. As leaders, if we don't act, our people are not going to change. If AI and generative AI and data science is out there, I think we can do wonders. That's what I was telling you earlier about collaboration. As a leader, I don't need to know. I don't need to have answers. But I should have the open-mindedness to adapt, right? And that I feel is missing. And that's what I was telling you about the context of Ad Club and the agency world, services world, right? I think I attended G20 in Argentina some 6 years back representing India. And there was a slide which was put up there saying that, okay, technology evolution has taken over human evolution. At that point, I didn't understand what that meant. Correct? Because I was not in the technology field. From that point, I started learning about technology. Till OpenAI came and dropped a bomb called ChatGPT, right? And it just started impacting all of us. Now, how many of you all in the audience use ChatGPT? Can we have a raise of hands? Thank God, right? Because that's the power which we have in our hand, right? Every time ChatGPT is dropping an update, thousands of companies, hundreds and thousands of companies are shutting down who thought that they had a business edge. But you should go back and say, what is ChatGPT built on, right? It is built on LLMs. Now, can you do an LLM? Can you do a private LLM, right? You're a company, you have the IP, I don't know technology, but I have the open-mindedness to actually start my own private LLM. Why not? Because if I have an LLM, every interaction which the customer is having with my brand, I'm learning the customer and I'm able to personalize a lot of things, right? So today, if you ask me, change is the only constant. We know that change is happening or change has happened already, right? And we are all grappling with it. So I'm sure the people who are sitting in the front row as well as the back row, they are all struggling with this entire change, right? But we have to adapt. Now, with adapt, what's the opportunity which we have? So I was thinking on my feet and I said, I think only you are enough. One, you are enough. You and ChatGPT can maybe create a global avatar sitting here, right? Or maybe make your own private LLM. So these are all opportunities which is there for everybody. Use the power of technology, just open up. Yeah.
Thank you, Laeeq. I think we're short of time. So maybe, unless anyone wants to add more to this, otherwise you can have a quick sum up, and a one-line vision of what you want to do. Yeah, Dr. Patel.
I just want to respond to the AI. I think we should be, as much as we're investing in technology, we have to invest in human beings and education. I think computers will continue to try and outsmart us, but human creativity is unique.
Thank you. Tony?
Yeah, I don't think, no, I still believe in the power of human creativity, but we should use AI to our benefit, and if we don't do that, I mean, we are going to suffer.
I don't think so. We're going to be replaced.
Yeah, never,
but
never.
Like
it gives a lot of power to an individual. I think recently I had a hotel consultant who was giving us a requirement for a project, and which he was charging a huge fees, and we put the same question to the AI. It gave a better requirement, more detailed one.
I don't know whether you've noticed, we receive the best resignation letters nowadays with ChatGPT.
So I think for the creative economy, its importance is so much. I think for a place like Kerala, where we have today, Kerala, we are trying to promote IT or industries, or you have manufacturing, or you have healthcare and all those things. I think the industry which we are talking about, the design and creative industry, is absolutely a non-polluting industry, and it is something which is a positive for a socio-culturally. It's going to have a positive impact. So I think this is something which we should really look up to.
Yes, that's a very, very important point. I think, it's a zero carbon emission, no footprint industry. Yes, apart from the other values. Yeah, Dr. Patel.
My summation, and I've been working now in Kerala nearly 15 years. I think investment in education, higher education. We have many art schools. We don't have a school where you can learn gaming, computer design, AI, architecture. I'm talking about a world-class institution. We, of course, produce doctors, nurses, scientists, architects, but I think this is something that Kerala government and the private sector can really invest in education. And, again, we're creating human capital. We're creating the leaders of the future, and it'll have an economic impact. Some of those people may decide to stay here and start families here.
Okay, thank you. And a line of vision, your vision for the creative economy.
In a conference of entrepreneurs, I think it's a very noble thing to invest in education opportunities for the hundreds of millions of young people in this country who find themselves unemployed, to create the right kind of jobs that this country needs.
Okay, thank you. Tony, you wanted to, I think, did he touch a raw nerve there? And when you said education, I thought you wanted to respond.
No, I think, yes, you can't say there is no architecture school. We definitely have Avani. So sitting here, yeah, I know, it has to be. I think government needs to, somehow the government policies as regards education, they are trying to have it doesn't, at the moment it doesn't encourage quality education. I think they want an average education. So I think
we need
certain
excellence.
changes need to happen in the education policy also, which can create better.
We need excellence. Excellence.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Your one-line vision or a sum up, Tony, you can, and then I'll go to Laeeq. Tony, would you like to?
Sum up.
Yeah, Philip, please go ahead.
Yeah, I missed to cover one point in my earlier thing. We had, so normally I'm again coming to entrepreneurial aspect. If somebody wants to start a company in the creative sector, they always find difficult to get the investment. That's another mindset we have. So recently, just 2-3 weeks back, we had one diner meet at Hyderabad, hosted by InfoPark, organized by TiEcon. We had delegation from, because Kerala have that address. Even though we have not done much, our talent is across the globe. So we had a good delegation from Japan and Canada and few set of VCs ready to invest in Kerala-based companies. And some of our companies got the investment in after the dynamite. And we had super hit directors like Ashvin of Kalki and Tumba, the director, was also came down since it's a delegation from Kerala. So this is the kind of response we get from outside Kerala. So it's the right time, and we have a vision, as per the policy, we have a vision of having 250 companies in Kerala, in the creative side, especially in the AVGC. We already have 100 companies. 24 of them are already operating in Infopark Kochi. And on the employment side, we want to create at least 10,000 employment opportunity in the next 5 years. That's the vision. So overall vision, if you ask, we want to position Kerala as a content creation hub. That's the vision we have.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you. As short as possible, please. Because
my sum up is very simple. Don't make another shit for shit. Correct? There is enough and more of shit out there. Don't create another shit. The ability is sitting with all entrepreneurs who are sitting here. Please take it onto yourself. Don't complain about government. Don't complain about society. Don't complain about people. I think the power is in us. I have a dream to probably create the world's first truly sustainable city or state, right? I've been talking to the government here. You know how government works, right? But I believe suddenly that this set of people who are sitting here, if we truly collaborate, that dream might become change from I have a dream to we have a dream. So that's the premise which I have.
Thank you, thank you. I want to ask the control panel that we have time for Q&A. 1-2 questions maybe?
We can have one question from the audience.
Okay. Anyone, please? Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Can we have the, yeah.
My name is Gopkumar. I'm a US citizen, and I have been actually having a startup for the last 3 years, and it's in the field of gaming. Now, my question is to Philip Thomas. You mentioned about the changes that you're seeing or observing in the gaming industry or the entertainment industry, and how that is actually bringing more work or more awareness in this field. Now, along with that comes the nuisance of how the impact of gaming has on families.
Sorry, we have a little paucity of time. Could you make the question specific and brief?
Yeah. So the nuisance of gaming or any of the other things, how do families address that? What you're doing in that space, along with encouraging gaming companies?
Gaming, did you get the question clearly?
Like the impact of what do you call the too much addiction of games or playing, spending too much time and money on platforms.
Maybe we can take this question offline.
Offline?
After.
Okay.
We can have a detailed discussion after this session.
All right, thanks.
Can you pass the mic, someone, to Mr. Jose Dominic, please? He wants a question. In the front, please.
Not a question, but when some of us from Thai, a few months ago went to Japan, we went to and learned something about the power of the creative economy or the creative society. We learned when we went to visit Hiroshima, they were told that Kyoto was first chosen as a location where the bomb should be dropped. But the Defense Secretary of the United States said, no way, because that's where he went on for a honeymoon to Kyoto, and he observed the art, culture, and heritage of that city, and said, never should the bomb be dropped on this beautiful city. Just the power of the creative, just want to observe.
Thank you, Joseph. So those in Fort Cochin can be very safe. Thank you. Thank you all and we will conclude the session with that.